Welcome back from that short break. Thank you for keeping it Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Clare Bwenje. In case you have just joined in, and in the studio today, I am with Mr. Owen Mwesigye. Wow, wow, wow. You have done us so well. Before we went for a break, we were still talking about the digital age. And as parents, we have to wake up, wake up, wake up. People are here to make money. So if you don't stand for your children, yeah, they will just be parented by the phones, by the televisions, by all that. So as parents, it's a great encouragement for myself and Owen, who's here, to wake up and parent the godly way. Thank you, Owen. Thank you. We have learned a lot, and then I know the parents there, they will be calling you to come and give these talks to their children. Wow, wow. Yeah. So what do you perceive as the most significant digital risks that children face today?
The digital risk is usually classified in 3 ways. Actually, 4 C's. We call them the 4C digital risk. Now, the first C is usually the content. You've heard people saying, let's do some content.
Like
now what you're asking,
creation,
content creation. You're asking about those artists who do whatever they want regardless of how they impact the children. And when you ask them, they say, morals don't bring bread. Now that's the content. Now that's the first C. The second C is contact.
Yeah.
What happens when this child or you as an adult, you've seen this content? Then the third C is called conduct. How do you relate after contacting or watching for long hours? For example, if you've watched a semi-nude video, a whole day of watching semi-nude music videos, what is the conduct? How will this child relate to this kind of content? Then the last C is contract. In Africa, most of Uganda, we don't mind about that. But if you realize that every time you're signing up for social media, or even subscribing, they keep asking, your consent, contact, blah, then after they say agree. Now every time you tick agree to terms and whatever, you're basically signing a contract. Meaning, in case tomorrow you have a case, you subscribe to it. Now those are the 4 C's. You look at the content our children watch, we look at how they've contacted it and the conduct around it. Then after that, you also go deep and assess what contracts have they signed? Do you have even a legal basis if tomorrow you want to sue, let's say, a site somewhere? You don't, because literally your child ticked for you or you ticked for them. So basically all the risks are in there. However, what I would for today, what I would want upon as some of these things is that one is what we call digital addiction. Others call it social media addiction. Why I use digital is because social media is just a segment of the other span. We're talking about hours of gaming by young male teenagers. We're talking about hours of consuming TikTok, social media content by us, even mature ones, old parents. We're talking about digital addiction from the point of where us, the old ones, are struggling, but still we are pushing the same to young minds who can't even regulate themselves in basic things.
Wow.
Now, for digital addiction, the key fact that every parent need to know out there is that there is what we call dopamine. In simplest terms, look at it as a feel-good hormone. Now, when we spend more time watching screen, be your TV, be the phone, be anything, then it starts giving you a reward process, where you start either feeling good about what you're watching, you can't get off TikTok videos, it keeps going to the next. Psychologically and emotionally, it has rewired your brain to keep glued to this. Now, dopamine, you can't control how it's released. It's released upon interacting with things. Now, digital addiction has the same effect the same level of dopamine released by interacting with excessive with screens is the same dopamine that is released to the brain by a cocaine taker or anyone doing drugs of abuse. And this is research, medical research proven. This is a reason why all these nations we look up to in technology are going back to make sure they enforce laws and policies that protect children from this excessive. Recently there was a debate, was it in UK, where they're saying that there should be a tag on social media, like the same tag that is put on cigarettes, that excessive consumption of social media has the same effect here. And this is in
that
parallel.
would be so helpful.
The same is being put, this, if you cross the border, Rwanda has put up the Rwanda Child Protection Policy, digital policy, where they're looking at how do we protect children at a younger age. If you go to countries like China, Korea, they put up detox centers because children in these highly advanced technology countries where digital transformation has been higher, they've seen the impact of addiction that comes with interaction with these screens, social media, gaming, and all that. And in the long run, digital addiction is not like the same reason why you wouldn't want your child to smoke. Now they are smoking. This content.
That's how sad.
That's why, if you want to know the addiction, that's why when you go home, your child runs, hugs you, you give their phone, try getting it from them. Impulsively, they cannot control how they react when a phone is taken away from them. They cannot control when you say, it's time to go and bathe, leave this cartoon. All they know is roll down on the floor, cry louder, not talk to you. And this generation of where kids are parenting parents, you just give away the phone for the sake of here, mental health. Mental health how? Because really, you shouldn't be worried that your kid has that impulsive, uncontrolled emotional reaction response to you withdrawing a phone. That should concern you more than 10 minutes of crying. Because when you see that happening, know that your child is already in what we call the addiction level. If you as a parent, you can't say that you have a deadline to meet for a report, but you find yourself, your mind can't easily decide to get away from watching what you're watching, that fear of missing out on social media and TikTok, the next TikTok video, you're already crossing the line. So before you think about how your child will cry, how your child will not talk to you for hours because you've taken away the phone, think about why is your child reacting that way. Secondly, what is that your child is watching that is releasing all that emotion towards you, the rage? Recently there was a video, I don't know how many have watched it. A 12-year-old, 12 or 8, killed a cousin over phone charging. This one had put a phone on a charge, this one came, the older one. They fought over. No, I want to go back to my phone. You can't charge before me, I have to charge. Then the other one overpowered them, suffocated the young girl with a pillow. Now, that is what awaits us. Over what? Charging a phone because they cannot miss interacting with what is on social media. That video is online. You go look for it. We've seen kids who sleep and in their sleep, they dream scrolling on the phone. These videos are out there, this content is there. Now that's the level of digital addiction. You're worried, and what makes digital addiction the worst danger for the young brain is the exposure to other addictions. You're worried that your child shouldn't get exposed to pornography or even masturbation or things like that. But there's no time in the world that our kids have accessed that information than today. This information, you don't need even to pay for it. All you need is 10 MBs. You go on TikTok, watch 2 videos, the next video will be a woman or a man. And now even those guys are more intentional that they are creating content for kids. So digital addiction doesn't only stop at dopamine release effects of drug abuse on our children and adults, but also exposes the entire addictions that we protect our kids from, basically into their palms. So you're talking about kids, talk about one day have a conversation with your kid about drugs out there. You'll be shocked. They will list for you. For you, could be knowing cocaine and marijuana. They will tell you all the other drugs. Where do they get that access from? So digital addiction is more than that. When you talk about, if we go deeper into that lane, it also has the other effect that everyone else knows, that when you get addicted, you spend more time on the screen, physically. You have more kids putting on specs at the age of 6. Why? Because the kid has been watching all the time in their early childhood. They were on this blue screen. I gave you something we were discussing before we came in here. Beside dopamine, there is deprivation, like it alters, screen time alters our sleep time. There is a specific hormone that is responsible for the day and night, call it the day and night, like scheduling our brain, rewiring our brain to know that now it's time to sleep, now it's time to wake up. Now, the blue screen affects the amount of that hormone that is released to your brain to help you understand when to sleep and your body to understand when to sleep or when not to sleep. So when it affects it, that's the same reason why you find our kids are finding it hard to sleep, even as grown-ups. Reason, because of the effect of the blue screen, that we interact more during the day. What happens when you don't get enough sleep? What happens when you've been addicted to all this? Depression, anxiety, mental health you're talking about, because you don't want to take away the phone, comes in full swing. And that's why I say that almost 80% of children that interact, 82% of children that interact with screen excessively have high chances of depression and mental health challenges. Another bit that comes through digital addiction, you'll find, now you go to age inappropriate content. When have 2 hours on phone, what do you think I'm doing really as a child? I know someone out there, I know my kids interact with these screens, but what they're doing, they interact, they are playing mind games, it's improving their mind power. What happened to board games and chess games doing that? You're basically initiating surface learning to your kid. Surface learning only improves one side of your child's development. Play-based learning improves the entire body, from physical to that. Now, you got to access to this energy inappropriate. I'll give something that is most people never want to talk about. By research, when a male child is exposed to nudity a lot, at a younger age, as they grow, their desire to actually interact and confidence to deal with the opposite sex reduces. Now that's the same effect of pornography on a male person. Now, we are giving a young boy access to the world of 70 or if not 90% of content is pornographic, whether it's light or hard porn. And we are worrying why our boys, as they grow up, their interest in marrying women reduces. Ideally, there's nothing new. This male body is longing in this young child, in this woman, because all their time, from the way childhood, they've been watching it.
They know everything.
So there's no curiosity. And in the long run, you're wondering why they will bring a boy in your home. So you look at age inappropriate content, you look at from how excessive screen time brings all these dangers. Age inappropriate content, you talk of misinformation. This child mind can't tell whether there is 2 gods or 1 God. Whether it's okay to be gay or not. Whether when you tell them go Google whether Uganda, you put in there and say where Uganda is. Google will give you all information. Some will be right, others will be wrong. Even with Google Maps, you'll find taken
Yes,
other places. So
yeah.
misinformation is the other risk. We are dealing with a generation where everything is right, everything is wrong, basing on how you emotionally want it to be. That's why if you brought up a conversation here, whether technology is good or wrong, it depends on whether you look the benefits you're getting it. So we argue from the angle of how it benefits us. And from there you look at cyberbullying. I've seen old people, aged people, even here in Uganda, who have decided to go off social media because they can't understand or stand being abused. And now here you are, a young teenager, your daughter, spends an hour making a TikTok video. And this TikTok video posts it on their TikTok account. And there is a certain person there with no morals and says, "You're ugly."
Wow. Yeah.
After applying all filters. This is a 12-year-old. You as a mom, can you take that? If you can't take it, why should your kids take it? And these bullies don't really care about your emotions. You go on X. They will abuse the president, abuse the archbishop, abuse your father, abuse your mother, abuse those even who died long time ago. Now you go as a parent, you feel it's the only thing to create a social media account for your 8-year-old kid. You haven't taken time to build a resilient lifestyle within them. And you think that won't come to you? The other risk that I'll talk about, we've broken bonds of family.
Correct.
When I spend more time on the screen, I'm interacting with the whole millions of virtual community, which in my head I'm assuming is true. In here, there are people putting on fake eyes, fake lips, fake hips, filters, everything. It's basically reality in there is minimal. So it has created an imaginary virtual reality that is so detached from what your child is going to face in the physical world. Their meaning of beauty is shifting to what they see on the screens. Their meaning of being right or being approved, of being an influencer, has shifted to how many people are following you, regardless of whether it makes sense or not. Your daughter is chasing the likes, chasing the reactions, chasing the number of followers on their accounts. You're taking pride your kid is being popular, but the question is, what kind of community is your kid attracting? That just stems from the kind of content they're doing. Then the other bit that I know most parents are using as, TikTok is bringing in creativity. It's true, it is. But in our own economy in Uganda, how many of us are earning from content creation? Let's bring it to Uganda. How many? The entertainment world has been here. We found it from Paulo Coelho's, all that Limitex for us in Christians. Been there. How many are earning from there? So do you think the TikTok world is going to pay the entire population, 70% of Ugandans who are under 30? Through TikTok. And you forget that the 2 hours of interacting with TikTok, the kid is also seeing the other things you're talking about. Social approval. You tell your kid you're beautiful, but will not understand it because 99% of people have told her you're ugly on social media. So you get to understand that we are living in a world where we have detached social bonds, family bonds. Kids are in their homes, parents in their homes, everyone is on their laptop, on the phone. Where does it leave you? So you realize that tomorrow you're looking to bond with your kid, but you cannot. The kid did a virtual world out there. And the worst come to the worst, that when the virtual world betrays that kid, it will take you ages to actually make them. Then we call something that is called grooming. 90%, even these, what we call Al-Qaeda's, whatever, they use online networks to groom. We have a dark web. Dark web creates anonymity where people come and interact with you and you can never trace who they are. You can't know my identity. I can wake up tomorrow and I put up a photo of Clare Bwenje on Facebook and I interact with everyone as Clare Bwenje for years. Until I've gotten what I want and I release it. You find people being manipulated and told, if you send me these photos, they groom you. They start from being your friends. Before you know it, they're asking you, can you take light photos, show me your brides, all that. And these kids are falling prey. They're adolescents, they don't know what they're doing. And parents are saying, it's okay, it's a digital world, let's have it. After all kids are on social media. Dear parent out there, if you don't understand what you need from these platforms and how your kids should get the best out of it, then you're going to get a cocktail of everything.
Wow. Now, I just love everything about this, and I love the way you're bringing out facts. These are the things that every parent out there wants to know. But also, I want to take your mind on this. We have seen that some people have been on social media and they have been helped out there. For example, Tenge, those people, Fresh Kid was given school fees, they're being paid for. What's your mind on that?
In research, you don't base on a grain to tell the quality of the entire sack. How many peng-pengs do we have in this world, in this Uganda, that have benefited from that? How many fresh kids do we have that have benefited from that? But even when that happened, the right people had to go back and put these people back to order. The fresh kid we saw coming is not the fresh kid that we see here. Why? Is he still having the media exposure? Because right people thought the right thing. Embrace education as you grow your. Also minimize this, because at your age you can't stand this social influence.
Exactly.
So I know as parent you were drawn to the modality of you want celebrity kids and all that. Celebrity has its own influence on how we view the world. This young mind, few kids, even international ones, by the way. If you grow up following all these international superstars, most of them beyond 16 never actually excelled. Few of them have broken through. And the worst is the Biebers. Their adulthood is a mess. It has no values, it has no morals. They are struggling because, first of all, the world accepted you as a kid. When you grow up, your identity in branding and marketing has changed. It's not a must that they will like the old you, because you present a whole new brand. So when you as a parent you're planning this, it's okay, but can you do it at a supervised minimal level and not forgetting the higher goal? To me, the biggest danger is parents who've embraced everything and forgot the core of this world. What makes this world meaningful? They're the values you have at a family level. How many parents out there have taken time to tell your children, our family values are this? How many? We don't even, most of our parents in our early 30s don't even believe in culture. Whether the good side of culture or the bad. Yes, the bad Christianity has weeded it out. But the question is, if you as a parent don't believe in Christian values, cultural values, which were the anchors of morality, and you expose this whole world to a young mind, do you expect any better? So peng, it's good for them, but it's just not even 1%. So how lucky is your child? So that's why I say, as you embrace all this, you have to put a proper balance and not throw your child into an ocean of God knows what.
Wow, I really, really like that you're speaking out of passion, and we have learned a lot from you. What are some signs that a child may be experiencing negative effects from their digital interactions?
Withdrawal. Your child usually plays with the fellow kids, but today, increasingly, they don't want to play with the fellow kids. They have withdrawn themselves from the physical world to the virtual world. There is one way. Two, they've been sleeping well over now because of the screen, and they no longer sleep. They're anxious about anything, and all they're thinking is about the phone. The other obvious one is how they react when you withdraw these phones away from them, which is very important. When you notice that they are screaming, they can't control the anger, the rage, they are gone. The other one is, and that way that's a victim of digital addiction, we get to understand that. The other one is when you start following behaviors, you didn't mold these things in your kid. If you take time to parent them. But now their attitude about faith, about church, about starts changing, then you know that literally your kid is already taking a wrong step. But the biggest issue is that most of you parents don't have time to talk to your kids. I've seen parents who have said, us, we no longer subscribe to TV. But you don't take time to tell your child why you're not. So what are you solving? The best thing would have been actually, we can't take away this technology. It's the age we are in. But we must bring a balance between parental influence or parental guidance and media influence.
Correct.
So if we don't get a hybrid where morals and values are embedded into the digital experiences of our children, we are lost. But taking away a screen doesn't help.
Yeah.
And
that's common nowadays. You find me, I don't have TV at my home, what? Yeah.
But what are you teaching your kid when they grow up? The point would be, in my home, we don't watch these videos. We spend 2 hours on screen. We spend this here. That would be the best thing. But when you don't communicate the reasons why you're doing that, you've left a gap. It's like when we're being caned without being told why we're being caned.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you repeat the same thing, they beat you. But when we say, you know what, child, for now, we are going to make sure we watch screen for no screen time, 2 hours to maybe to bedtime. And you say the reason is because when you spend time 2 hours, you go to bed straight away from watching, you won't sleep because of the other effect I talked about. When you say we can't watch these sites because of this and this, you're grooming and empowering your child to be better rather than withdrawing all the gadgets without telling them why.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Owen, and I will really, really appreciate you for this time, and also that, like the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. You have learned a lot, you know a lot, and you need to share it out there. But briefly, would you give any advice to the viewer out there? Because I know the parents are waiting. I know this is a season we are not going to go out of. We are in it, so we need to know how can we deal with this. Just briefly, and then we'll close the show.
I will be honest, we can't briefly deal with that. But I would tell every parent there, watch out for the next episode.
Okay, wow, I
the
like that.
Reason is, the time can't give us to delve on how to practically deal with all these risks. But for starters, take your mandate as a parent. Don't be parented by kids. These screens are supposed to help us, but not us depending on them.
Not us helping them.
We've reached a level where we are totally dependent on technology, and they are literally taking control of us, yet we are supposed to control how we deal with them. But when you become as a parent, set your rules, make your family values known to your children, and embed those family values in their day-to-day interaction. But also, if you're saying, I don't know what to do, please take time and be digital literate.
The reason we'll be having you here more often, because we need this. Of late, I've learned about AI, where when they ask you a question, you quickly type, what is this? And it brings a whole information about it. Thank you, dear viewer, for watching Family Hour. And thank you for watching this show every Friday, same time, same place. I love you. It is a good night, and God bless you.